The Mastery of Love. Wisdom book by Don Miguel Ruiz. We are reading a chapter called The Wounded Mind. I want you to imagine that you live on a planet where everyone has a skin disease. For 2,000 or 3,000 years, the people on your planet have suffered the same disease. Their entire bodies are covered by wounds that are infected, and those wounds really hurt when you touch them. Of course, they believe this is normal psychology of the skin. Even the medical books describe this disease as a normal condition. When the people are born, their skin is healthy, but around 3 or 4 years of age, the first wounds start to appear. By the time they are teenagers, there are wounds all over their body. Can you imagine how those people are going to treat each other? In order to relate with one another, they have to protect their wounds. They hardly ever touch each other's skin because it is too painful. If by accident you touch someone's skin, it is so painful that right away she gets angry and touches your skin just to get even. Still, the instinct to love is so strong that you pay high price to have relationships with others. Well, imagine that a miracle occurs one day. You awake and your skin is completely healed. There are no wounds anymore, and it doesn't hurt to be touched. Healthy skin you can touch feels wonderful because the skin is made for perception. Made for perception. I was gonna say perfection. Can you imagine yourself with healthy skin in a world where everyone has a skin disease? You cannot touch others because it hurts them, and no one touches you because they make the assumption that it will hurt you. If you can imagine this, perhaps you can understand that someone from another planet who come to visit us world have a similar experience with humans. But it isn't our skin that is full of wounds. What the visitor would discover is that the human mind is sick with disease called fear. Just like the description of the infected skin, the emotional body is full of wounds, and those wounds are infected with emotional poison. The manifestation of the disease of fear is anger, hate, sadness, envy, and hypocrisy. The result of the disease is all the emotions that make humans suffer. All humans are mentally sick with the same disease. But we can even say that this world is mental hospital. With this mental disease has been in this world for thousands of years. And the medical books, the psychiatric books, and the psychology books describe those diseases as normal. They consider it normal, but I can tell you it is not normal. When the fear becomes too great, the reasoning mind starts to fail and can no longer take all those wounds with all the poison. In the psychology book, we call this mental illness. We call it schizophrenia, paranoia, psychosis. But those diseases are created when the reasoning mind is so frightened and the wound so painful that it becomes better to break contact with the outside world. Humans live in continuous fear of being hurt, and this creates a big drama wherever we go. The way humans relate to each other is so emotionally painful that for no apparent reason we get angry, jealous, envious, and sad. To even say I love you can be frightening. But even if it's painful and fearful to have an emotional interaction, still we keep going. We enter into relationship, we get married, and we have children. In order to protect our emotional wounds, and because of our fear of being hurt, humans create something very sophisticated in the mind, big denial system. In that denial system, we become perfect liars. We lie so perfectly that we lie to ourselves, and we even believe our own lies. We don't notice we are lying, and sometimes even when we know we are lying, we justify the lie and excuse the lie to protect ourselves from the pain of our wounds. The denial system is like a wall of fog in front of our eyes that blinds us from seeing the truth. We wear a social mask because it's too painful to see ourselves or to let others see us as we really are. And the denial system lets us pretend that everyone believes that we want them to believe about us. We put up those barriers for protection to keep other people away. But those barriers also keep us inside, restricting our freedom. Humans cover themselves and protect themselves, and when someone says you're pushing my boundaries, this is not exactly truth. What is true is that you're touching a wound in his mind, and he reacts because it hurts. When you are aware that everyone around you has emotional wounds with emotional poison, you can easily understand the relationship of humans, in that the Toltecs call the dream of hell. From the Toltec perspective, everything we believe about ourselves and everything we know about our world is a dream. If you look at my religious description of a hell, if you look at any religious description of a hell, it is the same as human society, the way we dream. Hell is a place of suffering, a place of fear, place of war and violence, place of judgment and no justice, place of punishment that never ends. They are humans versus humans in a jungle of predators. Humans full of judgment, full of blame, full of guilt, full of emotional poison, envy, anger, hate, sadness, suffering. We create all those little demons in our mind because we have learned to dream hell. We have learned to dream hell in our own life. Each of us creates a personal dream of our own self. But the humans before us created a big outside dream, the dream of human society. The outside dream, or the dream of the planet, is the collective dream of billions of dreamers. The big dream includes all the rules of the society, its law, its religions, its different cultures and ways to be. All of this information stored inside our mind is like thousands of voices talking to us at once. The Tolstoy call this the mitote. Mitote is also from Latin, guys. The real us is pure love. We are life. The real us has nothing to do with the dream, but the mitote keeps us from seeing what we really are. I just want to add a parenthesis. In different cultures, mitote is like the illusion of reality. If you read psychology book by, there was this Greek philosopher. Anyways, you can find it in different books. When you are the dream from this perspective, and if you have the awareness of what you are, you see the nonsense behavior of humans, and it becomes amusing. What for everyone else is a big dream, for you become a comedy. You can see humans suffering over something that is not important, that is not even real. But we have no choice. We are born in this society, we grow up in this society, and we learn to be like everyone else, playing nonsense all the time, competing with more nonsense. Imagine that you could visit a planet where everyone has a different kind of emotional mind. The way they relate to each other is always in happiness, always in love, always in peace. Now imagine that one day you awake on this planet and you no longer have wounds in your emotional body. You're no longer afraid to be who you are. Whatever someone says about you, whatever they do, you don't take it personally, and it doesn't hurt anymore. You no longer need to protect yourself. You are not afraid to love, to share, to open your heart. But no one else is like you. Can you relate with people who are emotionally wounded and sick with fear? Can you relate with people who are emotionally wounded and sick with fear? So in this chapter, I think that the beautiful relation, psychology connection that I like to think is this comparison that you are born with healthy skin, with healthy mind, with healthy self, and with time you get wounded. It subconsciously touches the reality of traumas, of a childhood traumas. and how you accumulate those traumas subconsciously, of course. And I think that the part that talks about an ability to touch your skin, if I can relate to something, I would relate to the healthy physical touch. A lot of people relate physical touch with sexuality, but for emotionally healthy adults, there is something called healthy physical touch, which could be hold the hand or hug or smile or tap or anything joyful, touching somebody's skin or body without being sexual. These wounds that Don Miguel Ruiz talk about, for me, are relating to those people that are unable to have a healthy physical touch. There are many people that relate physical touch only with sexuality and sexual experiences, and they can't have normal emotional touch as a connection because during their childhood they did not have that, and then as adult they don't know how it's like to be just joyful and jump and share a hug and be happy about something without necessarily be sexually engaged. So I do believe that all humans are mentally sick, and I don't know about I love you. I think people say way too much I love you and they overuse it. I like the Toltec theory. You should read The Dream of Hell and the belief behind the Toltec culture and this mitote, saying basically that you live in this dream fantasy. Or if you read Hindu books like Upanishad or Panchatantra or something like that, they all talk about this. The world is fantasy and your life is fantasy, and your real life starts beyond this. It's very interesting that they say nothing is real, it's just a dream. Part of life is dream, and I think you have power to make this dream the way you want it to be, and that's most beautiful because you choose even in your dreams, right? And we are born in the society. I think this part where I say we're born in the society, we grow up in this society, and we learn to be like everyone else. I think a lot of people try to, how to say, to correspond, to fit, to be like others, to be accepted. I've been suffering with acceptance most of my life, because if you follow me now, you know that I am not like other people. Not because I speak 5 languages and not because I have education, but because I perceive life differently. And if you meet me in person, you're gonna know that for sure, that I'm a very unusual person. I see things differently and I experiencing them differently than most of the people. And sometimes I see beyond this physical mask or fear, and this could be a little bit challenging, but the truth is that we are product of the society, and most people will try to numb their inner wisdom to fit and to be something that the family wants them to be. I had the same problem with my family, my father's side of the family, and fulfill expectations. Same things with my mother's side of the family. And can you relate with people who are emotionally wounded with fear? I think we all have fears. Everybody around us, it's avoiding things, it's avoiding life, it's avoiding to meet people and to connect, because people are afraid to be judged or not understood. And that was our reading for today. The Wounded Mind. Write me your comments below. I would like to hear your what was the most impressive or most interesting part that you heard or that it touches you, because I know that every time I read this book I feel something else, and I know every time you're gonna hear this reading you're gonna feel something different, and you're gonna hear something different, and you're gonna experience something different because of where are you in life right now. So do write me your comments below. What do you think about this chapter? Thank you guys for being here. Bye bye.